Hi everyone, welcome back to Pine Hollow Auto Diagnostics. I'm sitting inside a 2014 Toyota Sienna all-wheel drive. It's at the local auction yard or car lot. This is actually a customer's car that the customer said they were driving on the highway and then it just stopped accelerating, stopped going. The engine still runs great. I'm sitting here, have the heat on, runs super smooth. When you put in gear, he said he drove it like around the building to get it here, but it's not going anywhere. Let's see, put in. Nope. Is this thing a beached whale that runs? Well, let's scan it for codes. In the electronic control transmission, holy crap, we have 12 codes. Some of them are repeats. 746, 796, 714, and then 741. So it's 4 codes. 776, 5 codes. And 2808. 6 codes. Pressure control solenoid A performance or stuck off. Now keep in mind, these are not circuit codes. These are performance codes, meaning it's a rationality check. Just like in that 2016 Pilot we just saw, where the computer commands the solenoid moves, but something doesn't happen, like the ratio doesn't change, the speed sensors don't pick up that the transmission actually changed gears. It sets a fault code for the solenoid, right? But the solenoid isn't necessarily the problem. The problem is there isn't pressure building somewhere. Like on this thing, it doesn't move at all. So I assume there's a main pressure feed problem. And 118,000 miles. 2014, what am I telling you guys? Even Toyotas are not as bomb-proof as they used to be. Remember that 2000 Sienna with 550,000 miles, original everything? It shifts like butter. Yeah, they don't build them like they used to. So let's diagnose this thing. I assume it's going to need a transmission, but we don't assume. We have to guarantee our diagnosis. So looking up the P0746 trouble code for the Sienna, TCM uses the vehicle speed signals and signals from transmission speed sensors to detect actual gear, 1st through 6th. That's a 6-speed transmission. Compares the actual gear with the shift schedule and the TCM memory to detect mechanical problems of the shift solenoid valves and valve body. So engine revs freely when in 1st, 2nd, 3rd, or 4th gear is commanded. Yes. 2-trip detection logic. When either of the following is detected twice. So it's either shift solenoid messed up, valve body's blocked, or automatic transaxle, clutch, brake, or gear. So this was a very sudden failure, and the car just stopped going. There wasn't any bad sounds. If you remember that ProMaster van, the Dodge ProMaster, that had like 300,000 miles on it, and it was also barely moving, but the fluid pump in the transmission was making a terrible sound, like it was cavitating. Remember, we got rid of that filter, filled it with fluid, roadside repair, and away the customer went. In this case, I think there's a bigger problem. Something either the pump broke or something cracked internally that's preventing fluid pressure from building at all. That's why we're getting all these solenoid performance codes. We can take a look at the wiring diagram. You would think if all the solenoids don't work, is there a missing power feed? Is there a missing ground? Something along those lines. So here's our transmission control ECU assembly, and you can see all the solenoids there's 2 wires going to the ECU. So it's going to be either a main power or main ground problem. However, the thing is online, it talks, it's not setting any circuit codes, it's setting performance codes. So we just have battery feed coming from this ECT fuse 7.5 amp, hot at all times, and EFI fuse 25 amp. That goes through the EFI main relay, which also feeds the engine computer, and we know that works, so there's no reason to suspect anything in this tree. You see bat and bat. I'm sure if that fuse is missing, we would definitely set a code. That's the constant keep alive memory for the engine computer and the transmission. Nothing wrong with that. I'll tell you right now, I don't need to check it. So those are the two powers. Do we have main ground, or is the thing just grounded on the transmission? Okay, top center of engine right there, E1, ED1. So there's two grounds coming. This thing is inside the transmission control ECU assembly, because all these solenoids connect directly to the transmission controller. In the OE diagram, let's see here, where are all the solenoids? Here they are. It literally puts them in the same box. This is all internal. This is how modern transmissions are built. There's no more external TCM controlling the individual solenoids through, a big wiring bundle. We just have basically a module inside the transmission with powers, grounds, and communication wires. There you go. CAN, bat, ground, ignition switch, battery, power. So at this point, I'm going to tell the shop, hey, I asked them, did you check the fluid level? They said yes. I'm going to tell them, drain the fluid, see what it looks like. At 118,000 miles, I doubt anyone's, excuse me, I doubt anyone's ever changed the fluid on this thing, which, again, people are going to say, hey, the transmission wasn't serviced, that's why it broke. Maybe, maybe not. But to have such a sudden failure with dirty fluid, nah, I really can't blame the fluid for that, because the transmission will keep working. It might wear out a little faster, you might lose a gear or two or something, but not just boom, you're done, like no pressure. On a CVT, that's the only one that catastrophically fails. Like if the pusher belt grenades, then yeah, you're not going anywhere in any gear at all. So that's pretty much it for the diagnosis, from the driver's seat. You might say, what kind of diagnosis is that? Well, we did our research, drew some logical conclusions, and I'm not draining the transmission fluid here in the cold parking lot. I'm going to tell the shop to do that, and we'll see what they find. I looked under the car. There are no leaks. Not like all the transmission fluid leaked out. Fortunately, that's that. So Honda, Toyota, I don't know. I see these early transmission failures, like right around that 100,000 mile mark. Vehicles across the board. No one's immune. No manufacturer is immune. That's too bad. So thanks all for watching. If there's a follow-up, I'll post that later. See you next time. Bye-bye. Oh, it actually moved. Nah, now we're dead in the water, right? Nope. Let's see, key off. So after a key cycle, it kind of moves. Okay. Doesn't go back. Okay, I don't want to go too far forward here because I won't be able to back up. Let's try that again, but in reverse. Okay, let's see what code's set. Pressure control solenoid A stuck off, solenoid D. Okay, so pretty interesting. Again, we could see how to check the fluid on this thing, but I really don't think it's a fluid problem, because if it didn't leak out, what happened to the fluid? Little bonus footage, same car lot. We got another transmission problem, 2000 Nissan XTerra V6. This is what a bad transmission pump sounds like. And the customer complaint is you can drive it for about a mile, then it'll stop going, shut the engine off, start it back up, it'll drive for another mile because the fluid is getting aerated. Kind of slow to engage. So on this one, let's check the transmission fluid level while the vehicle's running. Alright, let's check this transmission fluid level. I'm hoping it's just low. Well, it looks really dirty. So this might be a dirty transmission filter. So in this case, I would tell the shop, drop the pan, replace the filter, put fresh fluid in it, should be okay. Pump cavitation means the pickup can't, suck up enough fluid out of the pan fast enough. And the pump, the feed to the pump is bad. That's cavitation. Once the fluid warms up a little bit, it gets thinner, and the pump is, quiets down. This is a classic clogged filter, just like we saw in the ProMaster van. So this one has hope. The Toyota Sienna, I don't think so. Well, actually, this one now is not engaging gears, and the pump is quiet. What does that mean? That's not good. Let's see what the check engine light's all about. Just do generic. Knock, sensor, throttle position, torque converter, clutch circuit intermittent, gear 1 incorrect ratio. Yeah, no kidding. Okay. So we'll tell them to do transmission service. If it doesn't work, we'll come back and see what all this stuff is. Sure enough, I shut the vehicle off, started back up. The pump sound is back, and it moves. So I'm going to say transmission filter and fluid, go from there. So a short update on the Toyota Sienna with the broken transmission. The shop owner told me the customer took it somewhere else to have the transmission replaced and everything's good. So that was indeed a transmission failure. The Nissan XTerra, like I recommended, he drained the fluid, changed the filter, and he said the fluid that he drained was kind of liquidy. So these Nissans, I don't know if it's the first or second gen XTerras and Pathfinders, had a common issue with the radiator transmission cooler where the two fluids would mix inside the radiator, because I guess was a crack between the two, you know, the coolant and the transmission fluid. So I told him, you know, just watch your coolant level. If that starts dropping, your coolant has to be going somewhere. It might be slowly going to the transmission. But once he changed the fluid out and the filter, the truck drove, you know, just fine. Didn't make that terrible pump noise. So at least that one is salvageable. Toyota needed a brand new transmission. That was probably really expensive. And I mean, this is why personally, for my work truck, I love my manual transmission, because I don't want to deal with oil coolers and lines, and you know, I replaced the clutch once. That was pretty straightforward, but I don't want to get stranded somewhere and have to, whatever, buy a transmission. Just don't need that. And plus it's more fun to drive a stick shift anyways. So thanks all for watching. That's the update, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.